Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It's your boy Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is cryptocurrency. What's going on, guys? Got a very, very interesting topic to share with you guys today. And I was listening to one of my favorite YouTubers in the space of cryptocurrency. You guys should definitely go check him out. His name is The Modern Investor. Really, really sharp guy. Um, I love that he puts out stuff that is pretty much unbiased. Obviously, he doesn't mess around with the living platform space at all, and it just kind of gives you good news reports and with some very intelligent insights um, to what's kind of going on in the marketplace. One of my favorite guys to listen to for sure, and background in stocks, um, trading stocks and bonds, and from what I gather, I've never seen his bank account, but he seems as though he's good with his money, right? He's smart and good with his money. So just remember I told you that when I kind of delve into this conversation with you guys about what I was listening to him today and kind of noticing his frustration, and his frustration is with this here. What is pushing crypto and Bitcoin to plunge to yearly lows? And you could sense the frustration in his voice, um, right? I mean, because we've been in the bear market for a while now, 7.5, 8.5 months, something like that. And this is a guy who got into cryptocurrency earlier, sooner than I did, and uh, it's like 90,000 subs, right? So he's been doing this thing for a bit, right? Whatever it is, I don't know how long he's been in, probably 2 years, probably since 2016. And you could sense his frustration, and I thought it was very, very interesting that he was frustrated because he couldn't understand. See, he couldn't understand. He's asking himself questions like this: What is pushing crypto and Bitcoin to plunge to yearly lows? And where he's kind of caught in this dichotomy, if you will. He's kind of, in my way, in his thinking, in this kind of fork in the road because he has a background in finances, right? Trade and stocks and bonds. You could tell that he's well spoken, articulate, probably college educated, right? And he has this background in finance, and decides to get into the cryptocurrency space. And he doesn't just get involved, right? He's not just right. He's a retail investor, just like me, and probably just like you, and a little bit different in that he's educated himself in the space, right? Because there's one thing to go to TD Ameritrade because someone recommended a stock and you go buy the stock, right? A good buddy you trust, to recommend something, you go to TD Ameritrade and you go buy it. In cryptocurrency, although it is as simple as going to Coinbase or Circle or Robinhood and use the Robinhood app or the Abra app and going to buy some Bitcoin, this is different in that what makes this market go has to do so much with you and I. And I think he's frustrated in that the prices have been plunging the way they have been plunging. And he knows because he's done his homework and he's been in the space and he's always educating himself. And he always says on his channel, spend 5-10 minutes a day learning about this space, learning about the cryptocurrency space. And so he knows the project of EOS or EOS. He knows about the project that is Cardano. He knows about the project that is Stellar Lumens or Steam. He knows about Bitcoin and things going on there. He knows about some things going on with Ethereum and Vitalik, right? He knows some things with Hoskins and with or Cardano. So he does his homework, right? So for him, the smart, well-spoken, articulate, probably college educated um, guy from the financial background, he's looking at the market from his perspective. He's seeing through his glasses, right? And that's different than the average retail investor in this space. It's different because again, the average retail space, in my opinion, the average retail investor in this space is a person who's taking a stock tip from a good friend or watching something on the news watching Kramer or hearing something on the news, not doing their due diligence and just getting into the market and just buying something. Now he calls it FOMOing into fear of missing out into the market, right? And that can be a problem. And I'm going to read you something from a very smart guy. I think he is the manager or owner of a fund, and I'm gonna read it to you, and I hope you kind of get what he is saying. And that really kind of I wish I could get in contact with the modern investor, kind of let him know what's really going on. What's really going on? He used the word or didn't want to use the word something's wrong, and it's not that it's wrong. It's that there's a game here in the cryptocurrency space that's being played. Just like there was a game in the stock market, and there's a game in the tech boom. There was a game being played there. Just like there was a game being played in the housing market with the derivatives and that crap. There was a game being played, and if you're not savvy enough, the average person, the average American, is not savvy enough to get the game. Right? Right? We weren't in the know to kind of get the game. That's why it was a great movie, and I forget the name. Steve Carell, gosh, Steve Carell, Brad Pitt, and someone else. If you guys know the name of the movie I'm talking about, where these two or three very smart guys kind of caught what's going on in the housing market and realized what was going on, and Steve Carell played the role where he was torn between felt like making money or making money off the back of the people's losses, like torn because there was it was out of his control. There was nothing he could do about it, but he knew, but it was nothing he could do because he couldn't educate the masses in time to save them. And that's the challenge. That's why, I will say, and a modern investor will say, you have to educate yourself about what's going on here. It's not enough to just become a retail investor. It's not enough. And here's the reason why. It's because there's a game being played, right? And old money, like I always say, institutional money, old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want me to win. And here's the thing we got to get. They've been playing this game longer than you and I. They've been playing the game. And you got to get that there's a game being played. And, I was listening to another YouTuber and he says, market manipulation's been there. It's been in the stock market. It's been in commodities. It's going to be here in crypto. It's in cryptocurrency. That's kind of the way it is. But you have to understand the game. And you got to understand that the reason why crypto and Bitcoin are plunged to the yearly lows because there's manipulation going in. Because they want you to give them your Bitcoin. They know that there's this thing called this what is it, market sentiment. They know that the average person is emotional, and they can play to the emotions because they understand the game, and so they'll try to get you out of your Bitcoin, right? And so I'm going to just read just a little bit here so you can kind of get an understanding. The total combined market cap of cryptos continues to fall to new yearly lows despite ongoing improvements to the fundamentals of the space. That's why that YouTuber, the amount of investor, was frustrated because he's like he's doing his homework, he's doing his due diligence, he's keeping abreast of all the news and the changes and the updates, and he sees that Bitcoin's improving. He sees that Ethereum is improving, right? He sees all the partnerships that XRP is making. He sees that EOS is improving, that Cardano is improving, that Bitcoin Cash is making moves and improving. So why is it going down, right? Because he noticed and he recognized 3 years ago, 2014, 2015, 2016, When there was great news in the space, Bitcoin just went berserk, it went crazy, it went all the way up. Well, the difference between back then and now is institutional money wasn't even considering Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in 2014, 13, 14, 15. It's not only until recently that they discovered that the cash grab that can be cryptocurrencies. It's only recently that they discovered that. And so when you take into consideration what old money, institutional money can do, you understand that what's really going on here. What's the true game that's taking place? What could be What could be driving the prices of Bitcoin and other digital assets down in such a way? Fundamentals have never looked better. From a fundamental perspective, the cryptocurrency space has never looked better. Increased institutional options by the likes of Circle, Coinbase, and blockchain, and the ICE recently announcing intentions to form the bot platform with the likes of Starbucks and Microsoft by in this year, 2018, November 2018, are clearly positive developments. In fact, many in the cryptocurrency space were surprised that the latter project had not translated into a substantial price move to the upside. Absolutely. Why is that? That's some of the biggest news in the history of cryptocurrency. The whole thing with ICE and the buy platform, Starbucks and Microsoft. It's probably one of the biggest things ever. Yet it was hardly any movement at all. Why do you think that is? You got to think about that. You gotta get the game. You gotta get the game that's being played. And what they want to do is work on your emotions and and allow you to continue to stay on the sidelines. That's what they want. They want you to stay on the sidelines. And those of you who had the courage to get in Bitcoin, and you probably bought at some highs, you probably bought at the 12,000s and 13,000s and the 14,000s, right? You probably bought at the tops of things, right? You just any kind of time the market goes down, you're out. Like you're out because number one, you violated the number one principle investing in anything, and that's never putting in anything that you cannot afford to lose or that you're not willing to lose. I've heard the crazy stories of people mortgaging their homes and things, and I know people mortgaged their homes and got into the lending platform space. I know people took out loans, double mortgages to get into things like BitConnect and to get into things like Devore and to get into things like USI Tech. I know that happened 100%. And so a lot of people are scared. They're afraid. They're afraid. And what they don't get is the big picture. And the big picture is that in any space, whether any asset class, any space that is in the beginning of its venture, is like it's the wild, wild west. People come and they go. People come and get burned. They lose all kinds of money because they don't understand the game that's being played. And they don't know how, and I'm going to read an article, it's going to blow your mind. It is without question the number one reason. It is without question the number one thing that old money and institutional money uses against you. Uses against you. Never forget that. Old money doesn't want you. Oh, they don't want you to win. They want you to stay on the sideline. You gotta get that. So it's important to not only understand that it's important to not only own some cryptocurrencies, but it's also important to understand what's behind this cryptocurrency. You got to understand what's behind Bitcoin in order to stay strong and remain strong. You got to understand what's behind Ethereum and what's behind Tron. You got to understand what's behind Icon. You got to understand what's behind Walton Chain. You got to understand what's behind those things. Yeah, you got to go to CoinMarketCap.com. Okay, here's CoinMarketCap.com, and all you got to do is pick one of these projects, tokens or currencies, if you will, and each one of them. I'll click on EOS. Okay, when you click on it, it's going to have over here to the left. It's ranking websites, recent announcements, the explorers that they're on, a chat if you want to know, and if you're a P2P person, peer-to-peer person, you understand codes, a place for you to check out the code. But right here it says website. That's for you to become better educated about what's going on. That's for us to become better educated about what's going on. This is not a stop. This is not getting a recommendation for something and just going to your TD Ameritrade and purchasing it. This is a technology that's going to change, without question, that's going to change the world. And we're talking about currencies that are going to change the world. They're digital currency. It's the next evolution of money. It's the next evolution of money. So you gotta get blockchain technology, right? You want to become more familiar with blockchain technology. You want to become more familiar with Hashgraph. You want to become more familiar with what is Bitcoin, right? You gotta grab a copy of Andreas Antonopoulos, whatever his book. You gotta grab that book and read it. You gotta get on Netflix and watch the Netflix videos on Bitcoin, how it all started. And, you got to get educated. Old money, institution money, is counting on you not getting educated. That is the truth. That's the real deal. That's what they're counting on. You not getting educated. They're counting on us. They don't want us to get educated. You know, they get 100%. Is that saying Bitcoin is under $6,000? Wow. Bitcoin is at $5,998. Wow. Make sure that's right. I'm going to refresh it. And I increased my position today, and that's an interesting thing right there. So it just went under 6,000, and that's kind of like the test level. But from what I've been hearing from all the people that know the technical analysis, but they don't want you to win, right? They don't want you to win. Put this in. They don't want you to win, right? They don't want you to be, they understand the game. They play it better than you. But I'm going to go back to this here. I'm going to read this. No, that's not the one right here. So, I'm going to keep reading. That said, the overall market is still tanking. It's still tanking. The likes of Ethereum, EOS, Tron, IOTA, and NEO are the worst hit of the top 15 projects. They've seen 24-hour drops between 9 and 11.5%, according to CoinMarketCap. Evidently, market sentiment is not where it needs to be to see a reversal for 2018. And that's kind of the deal. That's one of the games, and I'm going to show you that later. And so the ETF delay, people, are really looking forward to this whole ETF thing. You got people who kind of were promoting it and kind of saying that was going to really make the market, right? And so it's going to really make the market. And so when you hear that, and then you hear of a delay, it's an emotional letdown for people. And old money, institutional money knows this. They know this. I listened to same YouTuber, the Modern Investor, and he came across an article. I think his buddy got it to him about the people from the VanEck and SolidX, uh, people who applied for the ETF. And here's the thing that I just thought was really, really interesting. They said it was them, one from VanEck, one from SolidX, and a former SEC employee. And I thought it was interesting. First of all, the former SEC said it's no question that it's going to get approved. It's just a matter of time. I thought it was very interesting, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing, that the people from VanEck and SolidX, it's not really paraphrasing, it's kind of exact words. We knew about we knew about the delay of the ETF to the hour. We knew about the delay to the hour, right? So this is the institutional money here, right? SolidX, VanEck, that's the institutional money, right? They knew about the delay to the hour. right? They're in the know. They know. You understand what I'm saying? They know what's going on. They know the game. You have to become familiar with the game and prepare yourself for what they're trying to do. And what they're trying to do, institutional money, in my humble opinion, old money, in my humble opinion, is try to keep the price down. Why? Because when they come in, they want to come in. Not that they're not already in, but they want to they want to shake you loose of your cryptocurrency, and they want to get their the best price that they possibly can. There's this thing called OTC, over the counter trading, where institutional money, big sums of money, 200,000, 500,000 at a pop, at an order. They do it over the counter. They don't use exchanges, right? And obviously, this is something that's not new. OTCs has been around for a minute, if you will, right? So that's a long time. It's been around for a while. So they know the game, and they know how to make these purchases not seeable, not visible to the masses, right? Not visible to the masses. Because you listen to me, you can rest assured that there, listen, you can rest assured, I'm not talking about Oprah Winfrey money. I'm talking about institutional money. I'm talking about old money. I'm talking about generational money. Know the game. And they don't want you to win. They don't want you to win. They know the game. And they play the game better than you and I. You got to get it. And so that you can learn to outsmart them, beat them at their own game, right? Beat them on their own game. Prices of tokens falling. Although the target market is very much in the red, most of the bleeding is coming from the token side of the industry. And I don't think it matters if it's token or if it's a currency. The market is being manipulated for a reason. Market sentiment needs time to recover. It's almost certain that there isn't a single reason behind the continued tanking of the cryptocurrency market. The most realistic cause is that the market simply needs time to recover. A lot of inexperienced investors entered the space at the tail end, right? They bought high. They bought at the 13,000, then the 14,000s, and at the 15,000, right? They bought at the top of the market. Many were badly burned following the late December downturn. In such a climate, new money is reluctant to enter into the market. In such a climate, new money is reluctant to enter into the market, right? When markets get as overextended as they did in the 2017 bull run, they need time to cool off. And so that is really the essence of what it is. That is really the essence of what it is. And I'm going to follow that up with something here. And I hope you guys catch the message here. This is on Bloomberg. And it's talking about why is Ethereum one of the most brilliant.
What else did we hear from Mr. Erdogan?
One of the most brilliant projects in all of cryptocurrency. Initial coin offerings using the Ethereum blockchain, ICOs using the Ethereum blockchains, new businesses, new projects that come on, they want to use Ethereum to create and use their projects, are seen as one of the most catalysts for sending Ether's prices surging last year. Now they're being blamed for its decline. Ether, the cryptocurrency of the distributed ledger network, tumbled by as much as 17% Monday. Today, the biggest drop since March. The price slumped to as low as $285, pushing it below 300 for the first time since November. The digital coin is down 60% this year compared with Bitcoin's 54% slide. Ether skyrocketed over 1,000 in February, just past February. In part, as starters built projects on top of the Ethereum blockchain and sold digital tokens in exchange for Ether and crowd sales known as initial coin offerings. Yeah. Investors who bought Ether to participate in ICOs drove the price. Now some of those projects are cashing out to cover expenses, all right? And that's another part of the problem is the bad ICOs. So the bad ICOs say, look, in order to get our tokens which is essentially buying into the company, you have to deposit Ether, right? Or Bitcoin. So this one is particularly Ether. So you got to go buy you some Ethereum. You got to go to the site, deposit your Ethereum onto the ICO site during the ICO phase, and they give you tokens. And so what they're saying is that they're cashing out on these, especially the ones that were just pretty much junk. Now some of those projects are cashing out to cover expenses, and on concern this year's cryptocurrency bull market will drag out. Exactly. So they got a bunch of Ethereum, and they worry about the Ethereum getting less and less and less and less in value. right? So a lot of these, a lot of these companies start these projects when Ethereum is at these high prices, and when it starts to go down, starts to get down, they all these companies are just cashing out. So whereas now some of those projects are cashing out to cover expenses. I'm concerned this year's cryptocurrency bear market will drag out, according to Biswa Das, who runs cryptocurrency quantitative hedge fund Bloom Water Capital. He runs a quantitative hedge fund. Okay, just keep that in mind. This guy Biswa Das, right? And see, that's right. Who owns hedge funds? Right? Just keep that in mind. These startups are raising a lot of. This is a quote from the guy who runs this hedge fund. These startups are raising a lot of funds, but they don't have treasury management. They don't have treasury management or enough cash management experience. So they're selling too early and causing a lot of pressure in the market. I'm going to read that again because you got to get it. Now, if this guy knows this, if this guy knows it, what are the CBOE and the CMEs and the Van X and the Solid X? What do they know? You get what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? These startups are raising a lot of funds, but they don't have treasury management or enough cash management experience. That is it. In other words, they don't know the game. They don't know the game. They don't have the experience to manage their money. They don't know how to do things to offset the losses. They don't know how to do things to prevent the losses when the market's going down. They don't know how to take money off the top when the market's going up. Perhaps 95% of these people who start these ICOs on the Ethereum blockchain, this is the first time they're smart guys. They're P2P guys, but they don't have treasury management or cash management experience. So they don't know how to deal with the volatility that is cryptocurrency. And if those guys who started ICO companies don't know, what does the retail investor know? You see what I'm saying? And institutional money, old money, knows this. And so when you see crazy things and you read articles like this about saying what is pushing crypto and Bitcoin to plunge lower, and I just really think it's really, really interesting that that's being brought up. It's being questioned, right? What is it? It's an interesting thing. The New York Stock Exchange owner wants to bring Bitcoins to your 401k. The New York Stock Exchange. The New York Stock Exchange. Right? So if this market manipulation in the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ is just designed to take your money, what's going on in crypto? What's going on with this institutional money? Like, what's going on? You ever think about that? Like, what's going on? This is something about RSK. This is for Bitcoin. This is something to enable smart contracts on Bitcoin blockchain. Right, so Bitcoin's already got the Lightning Network, right? They got that going on. It's going to make it transactions faster and cheaper. And then they got this thing called, and there's something else they got it going on as well. I forget it. I mean, they had the SegWit thing that was great. Now they got this thing called RSK. And it's going to allow Bitcoin to have smart contracts on it, just the same way that Ethereum does. Which is Ethereum is one of the most brilliant projects ever. Right? One of the most brilliant projects ever. So why is the price of Bitcoin and stuff going down? Because of the manipulation in the marketplace, and you have to get that. That's what it's about. Bitcoin looks unstoppable lately, up 20%. This is in July. Bitcoin looks unstoppable lately, up 20% in the last week. Bitcoin now stands at $8,200. And so what happened was about a week or so before that, it was like $5,900. right? It's $5,900, and it went up to 8,200, like in a day or so. It was very, very quick. And that leads me to believe that that was institutional money. It was old money, right? You know, old money is not gonna wait to get into the market until the ETF comes, right? They're gonna, do the over-the-counter trading, do the stuff that doesn't show up on exchanges, do stuff privately and secretly. That's the whole purpose of over-the-counter, the OTC. That's why the market exists. And so what they were doing was manipulating the price at 5,900, get a bid up to 8,200, and get people. Hopefully, they're hoping that us retail people will see, oh shoot, it just bumped up from 59 to 8,200. Oh snap, I'm on it. I'm gonna get some before it gets too high. And then when it gets up to 10,000, it goes, but they get manipulated again and goes back down. There's a reason for that, right? If Bitcoin was once 20,000, many believe it still has a good future. Now, this is an article, right? Right out in the market. But think about it. It has rallied 35% since its June low, and it's up 20% in just last week. Bitcoin, the price all of the cryptocurrencies are tethered to, has remained the 8,000 low the first time since late May. There may be some reason for this, including perhaps the following. Bitcoin futures is up. Interest from institutional investors is bullish. There's speculation that a Bitcoin ETF will be approved by the SEC in August. 5,900 to 8,200. What's the purpose behind that? They've been hanging out for a while. What's the purpose for that? Is to get people to get in, kind of put your money in, and then have you, buy some Bitcoin, and then have you freak out and sell it. Yeah, that's the game. To put it in perspective, Bitcoin is back to its price of November 22nd, 2017. It dipped as low as 5,900 at the end of June. So this recently rally does seem particularly impressive. Bitcoin has a market cap of $140 billion. Interesting thing there. And I just kind of want you guys to kind of get the game, like what would be the reason for the red? Improving. Ethereum got the Casper, got the Radon network, got Plasma, XRP, major, two exchanges said they're going to actually use XRP as their pairing, right? The same way that Bitcoin is used as a pair, right? In the cryptocurrency space, currently you got to buy some Bitcoin to get some XRP. You got to buy some Bitcoin to get some EOS. You got to buy some Bitcoin to get some Cardano. You see what I'm saying? And Bitcoin is the major pairing with all the other cryptocurrencies, all the tokens and coins, tokens and coins, right? But two exchanges said they're going to do XRP that way. That's amazing news. Major, what is the word? Major partnerships, XRP. Bitcoin Cash just had something recent happen to them. I have to read about it again. I just heard about it. Stellar Lumen making all kinds of noise in partnerships, just progressing heavily. EOS is doing their thing. Smart guys behind that project. Litecoin, they're doing their things, slowly but surely. They just had some kind of major thing happen, I think, with a bank and some other thing. Cardano again moves. Dash, big things expected for that. It's Ethereum Classic. All the big institutions are talking about Ethereum Classic. So these things are going on. Yet, look at these prices. Everything is in the red. Everything is in the red. Cardano is less than 9 cents. IOTA is 40 something cents now. Tron is a penny. Dash is down to 140. Right? And it's funny too. It's a very, very interesting thing. Ethereum Classic down to $10. Oh man. Right? And think about that. So the idea behind this market manipulation, I got Ethereum Classic with 17, 18 bucks. I got Dash at 160 something. How about Tron when it was 1 cent? IOTA was higher. I forget what I think IOTA was like 89, 88 cents when I got some. Cardano was like 14 cents down to 9 cents. EOS was $7, it's down to $4, right? And Ripple was 43 cents, it's down to 26 cents. Now, what would most people, the average retail investor, be doing? Bitcoin is under $6,000. What do you think is going on with the average retail investor? Do you think that they're thinking, cut my losses short? I mean, do you think that? Do you think they're saying, cut my losses short? Of course they are, because they don't understand the game. Number one, you're not supposed to put any money into the markets that you're not willing to lose, that you cannot afford to lose. And number two, you don't take 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000 and put it into Bitcoin. You don't take 10,000, 5,000, 15,000 and put it into Stellar. One thing. You don't put all your money into one thing. Right? I mean, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm saying that there's a smarter way to play the game. A very, very smart guy said you want to do something called asymmetric investing. And asymmetric investing, it simply means that you can take a small bit of money, retail investor, small retail investor, $200 to $400. Bigger investor, you got some extra cash flow, whatever that might be in your savings, your 401k, IRA, whatever. You got, maybe some tens of thousands of dollars. It's 500 to 1,000. So 200 to 400, 500 to 1,000. And what you do, 200 to 400 guy, 200 to 400 in Bitcoin, 200 to 400 in Ethereum, 200 to 400 in XRP. And I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm saying this is a smarter way to play the market. So you end up with 10, the top 10, not including Tether, and you have an equal amount of money in each one. Let's say it's $200. Okay, that's a game plan, right? And because the idea with this amazingly volatile market, the idea is not to be over owned like 20,000 in Ethereum and no other cryptocurrency, or under owned in any cryptocurrency. So you don't want to be over owned in one thing or under owned in another thing, right? So you just I am simply taking whatever amount of money that I'm willing to invest and I'm willing to lose each week, twice a week, twice a month. Started Bitcoin, next 2 weeks, same amount of Ethereum, next 2 weeks, same amount in XRPs, next 2 weeks, same amount in Bitcoin Cash, next 2 weeks, same amount in the Stellar, next 2 weeks, same amount in EOS, next 2 weeks, same amount in Litecoin, next 2 weeks, same amount in Cardano, next 2 weeks, same amount in Monero, next 2 weeks, same amount in IOTA, next 2 weeks, same amount in Tron, next 2 weeks, same time amount in Dash, next 2 weeks, same time amount in same amount in Ethereum Classic. So you're not over owned on anything, and you're not under owned on anything. And you can do the top 10, you can do the top 20, you can do the top 30 if you get to that point. I tell my family, top 10's good. Top 10's good. Take the money that you're going to go hang out at the club. Take the money that you were going to go, go see a local sports team, go see a football game, go see a basketball game. Take the money that you would go to the casino. Put that money in. You know what I mean? Put that money into the market. Do it consistently and spread it out evenly so that you're not over owned on one thing and under owned on another. It's a simple strategy. And the reason why you can do that is because the gains in cryptocurrency are phenomenal. I mean, 500%, 400%, 1,000% it's commonplace. It's commonplace. 5x, 10x, 15x, 20x is commonplace in cryptocurrency. So number one, you don't put any more money in as you can afford to lose. Number two, you do the asymmetric investing, right? You do asymmetric investing. And number three is you educate yourself on the space that you're getting involved in. You got to educate yourself in the space. But the great thing about asymmetric investing and not putting any more than you're willing to lose is you can be emotionally stable. You can play the game the way institutional money plays the game. You're not affected, right? I mean, this is the truth, just in complete transparency. I just strengthened my position in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they both went down. They both went down since I strengthened my position. Since I increased my position, they both went down in a matter of hours. In a matter of hours. But I know the game is playing here because I know the underlying technology behind Bitcoin. I understand the underlying technology behind Ethereum. And I know the game is being played. Without question, there's market manipulation going on. Without question. Old money is not going to go down easy. They know that they know that we are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. They know that. They understand that. And they don't want you to win. They want to keep that generational money going. You understand what I'm saying? They don't want you to win. They're trying to scare you and I out of the market. But if you educate yourself and you get what EOS is all about, and you educate yourself and you get what Stellar is about, and you get the project, and you read the white paper, you read the website, you look at the challenges or the issues or the problems that they're trying to solve, you get the use case behind the projects, then you understand that you have an opportunity to take advantage of the Googles and the eBays and the Amazons of the world where perhaps you didn't get it. You have a chance to recover from the 401k or the TSP that plummeted in 2009, 8, 9. This is your chance. This is our chance to recover from, the tech stock thing when that was going on. And the truth of the matter is when the stock market, when that tech boom thing busted, institutional money was in there buying all that stuff, telling you not to, and then buying it. Same thing with the housing market crash, buying who knows, thousands of homes, and the average person couldn't even get a loan to buy a home. It's the game. It's the game. You got to get the game. The better you understand the game, the better prepared you are. And a lot of times, it's you got to educate yourself. You got to for me, what I did is I just started hopping on YouTube and listen to different people and applying the principle of discernment. Said, yeah, that dude, yeah, probably don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, this dude makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can go on to the next dude. Listen to the next dude. Yep, that dude makes sense. Oh, this guy over here, no, lost it. This guy is way too P2P for me, too peer to peer, as I like to call him. He's talking code and nodes, and yeah, that's not my thing. Smart guy, love him. We need the P2P people. We need them. We need the peer to peer people. I call them P2P, peer to peer. Right? We need them, 100%. But that's not me. I'm a retail investor, so I'm listening to some people that make sense for where I am. But I'm still getting educated on what's going on in the marketplace. Right? I'm getting educated on that, and that's the deal. That in the end, that's what it's about: learning the game, okay, and not being afraid, to stop standing on the sidelines. Stop saying. Listen, there's a reason why the youngest vice president in the history of Shearson Lehman got into cryptocurrency, started a subscription, got subscribers, and advising people on the market. He's the youngest vice president in the history of Shearson Lehman. Owned his own hedge fund, ran his own hedge fund at one point. Smart guy, and he's doing some things, and he's looking to make up for money that he lost, though he missed out on as a young 22, 24-year-old, holding stocks in major companies like Microsoft, learning from, and he was in the game, learning from his mistakes, that emotional mistake, And if once you get educated, you know that you don't have to take a loss when things start getting down, and you got to learn about USD tether. You got to learn about true USD. You got to learn, what's the value behind doing that? How does that work? How does that help? Right? Because you don't always have to take losses. You gotta learn that. You got to kind of get educated in the game. I'm not going to tell you guys about it, but you got to kind of get into the game. Are you in the game? You got to get into the game first. Do you know how to use Coinbase? Anything that you want to learn about cryptocurrency is on YouTube, or you can Google it. Like literally anything, everything. That's how I started. And I just kept doing my homework, and I just kept doing my homework, and I just kept doing my homework. And I'm like, man, when this pops, when this hits, if this, I get it. Like there's over 1,000 things on here. right? Like on CoinMarketCap, there's like 1,000 things on there. 95% of them are not going to be around 3 years from now. Gone. But how many things you thought were around? How many things you think were around when Microsoft was around? How many things you think were around when Apple was around? How many things you think were around when IBM was around? Think it was just them hanging out? Of course not. Thousands. There were thousands that came and went. And did some people lose their money? 100%. Absolutely. 100%. But those who understood the game made big time money. And that's what I'm saying is you got to learn the game. You got to learn the game. And for me, I get that this is the greatest. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. And I get 100% and no way disillusioned. I know that old money doesn't want me to win. I know that. But you got to get educated. I mean, you got to get educated on stuff like that, right? You have to read Robert Kiyosaki, right? You got to read The Unfair Advantage. You got to read The Creature from Jekyll Island. You got to get the game. You got to get the game. And I'll say it again. I've said it 1,000 times. This is our cryptocurrency is our chance to win. If it's a former hedge fund manager and youngest vice president in history of Sears and Lehman's chance to win, isn't it your chance? And this dude is helping the masses. He's helping the average Georgian. Pricey, but you got to pay. You got to pay if you want the education. I mean, you got to pay if you want it. If you feel like you need it, you got to pay if you want it. You know? But we are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man, guys. That's without question. And my heart, I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about this a couple of days ago, and I wrote it down somewhere, and I can't find it, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna say it, right? If you're 50 years old, if you're 50 years old, and this is just my humble opinion, and you're standing on the sidelines, like I'm fearful of some pain 3 years from now, 4 years from now, and that pain of I should have, I had a chance, I should have, and I let institutional money who controls the news controls this scare me out or scare me from even participating, in the market of cryptocurrency. Not I got in and I lost all my money or something like that, right? Like scared you so much that you didn't even participate. That's my greatest fear. Like you're 50 and this might be, I'm talking about the last chance for the big money. I'm not talking about making $100,000. I'm not talking that. I'm talking millions. I'm talking millions. This just might be your last chance. And in that pain of looking back 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and knowing that you had a shot when Bitcoin was less than $6,000, when it's gotten as high as $17,000 projected. All the vast majority of experts are saying $100,000 Bitcoin. Some are even saying 500,000 a Bitcoin. Some are even saying 1,000,000 a Bitcoin, because it's a scarcity thing. It's a supply and demand thing. As far as I'm concerned, I look at Ethereum and XRP and Stellar, EOS and Cardano. I look at them as the Googles, the eBays, and the Amazons of the world. The Amazons of the world, like the top 10 besides Tether. That's the way I look at it. And not everybody can be number one. Just because Bitcoin's number one now doesn't mean it's going to continue to be number one. I think there's going to be a store of value, and then there's going to be that currency that everyone's going to use. And I think that there's a sleeper, and it's just my opinion. It could be Dash as that currency. It could be Stellar. It could be XRP. But there's like this sleeper, and I don't want to miss out on it. So do I want to spend $10,000 on XRP because I think that's the sleeper? No, no. 10 grand, 500 on 20 coins, tokens or currencies, right? Not under own any one thing and not over own any one thing. And get it that this is my chance, right? This is my chance. And understand, do your homework and understand that Microsoft and Amazon at one point was 94 to 95% loss in value. So if it was $100, it went down to $4. So it got to 100 and went down to $4. Yet today, no one would tell you to sell your Amazon stock or to not, right? Would they tell you to be, oh, you need to get rid of your Amazon? No, they wouldn't do that today. But when it was going 100 and was going down to 4, it was pretty bad. Emotionally, that was tough. I think it went to $6, right? Tough. But if you understood Amazon and you did due diligence on Microsoft and you looked at the challenges or problems, you evaluated the use case that particular project could solve in the market because you were educated, perhaps that would have let you hold on a little bit. And perhaps if you understood about not being over-owned on one thing and under-owned on another, right? I mean, diversify your portfolio isn't everything, right? Real estate people, investors, they don't just have one type of real estate. They don't necessarily just own apartment homes, right? So investors don't just have gold and silver, right? They have gold and silver. They have real estate. They have perhaps some commodities. They have oil wells. They have stocks for oil, for gold and silver mines, right? They have the stock, not just the gold and silver, but the stock of the mines, right? They diversify in that portfolio. So it's no different than cryptocurrency. You diversify into that portfolio that is cryptocurrency. You don't just own Bitcoin. You don't just own Stellar, right? Again, I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm telling you what I do. I'm telling you the way I think. And so, it's just the thing. And I feel like, almost an obligation to educate you on what's the real game, what's really going on. From the way I see it, what's really going on, like what's really going on. And again, if you haven't read The Unfair Advantage, maybe you want to grab a copy by Robert Kiyosaki, right? If you haven't read The Creature from Jekyll Island, maybe you need to grab a copy. Understand what the things like the Mandrake system, Rothschild forum are all about. Got to educate yourself. That's the key. Old money doesn't want you to do that. Got to understand the game, guys, because this is our chance to win, 100%. I'm gonna say it again. That we're in the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. We're in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sideline? Old money doesn't want you to win. Here's what I do know. The battle for you has already been fought. It's already been fought. And the victory is yours. The question is, will you go get it? I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya.